What's up, everyone? Welcome to a very exciting episode of the Boo Project. And today I have a very special guest for you guys. I would like to introduce to you guys Marcel P. Black.
What's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How's life treating you, man?
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's if I said it was easy, I'd be capping, but we here, man. I wake up every day, blessed to do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. It's a complete blessing, ain't it?
100%.
But I finally get to have a sit down with you here and stuff. So, for everyone who's just kind of getting introduced to you, why don't you tell them who Marcel P. Black is?
Marcel P. Black is a husband, a father, hip hop educator, college graduate, MC, a self not proclaimed, but a person who's not afraid to say that he loves hip hop and is a conscious rapper, not afraid to be an independent underground rapper. And some people might know me as a leader of the railroad movement. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you're doing a lot. I mean, you are, if you ask me, you are the leader of the Red Rov movement, man. You're the one pushing it.
The railroad movement, that's real MC the railroad vocal specifically. That's something I came up with. But like I want to say, like 2018, like I don't know. I guess by osmosis, I don't know. I got crowned the leader of the Stop Rapping with Vocals movement. It just became something I was known for. You know what I'm saying? Then I started Railroad in 2019. But yeah, you can sound the leader, man. I mean, the Facebook tags and posts that I get every single day kind of say the same, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely cemented yourself as the leader of a great movement in our industry here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So I guess let's get into the questions. From what I could find, looks like you it said you grew up in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Small town, 25,000 people, 100 miles north of Dallas, 100 miles south of Oklahoma City. Small town, but small town, a lot of hardworking people, a lot of good people. You know what I'm saying? We got people who went to the NFL, and we also the person who tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan from Ardmore too. So you know what I'm saying? So it's pretty interesting, but a good place to grow up, man. I'm a better man because of it.
So what was your life like growing up in Ardmore?
Man, grew up, man. Two great parents. Both parents went to college. My father's a juvenile probation officer. My mother was a social worker. Definitely grew up in the church. You know what I'm saying? Both my parents very heavy in the church, heavy in the community, and my only child. So even though I'm my only child, because they work with youth so much, I got all type of god brothers and god sisters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
High school, middle school through high school played band, high school basketball, debate, drama, speech in middle school, FAA my senior year because they had the dope field trips or what have you. But yeah, man, just try to be, athlete, you know what I'm saying, artist, son of a gospel musician. So music was definitely a big part of my life, and probably one of the main things that's been the most consistent throughout my whole life. I can't hoop no more. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't been on anybody's stage since my senior high school, and I'm 42 years old now. You know what I'm saying? So music has been the one thing that's never left, that's been in my life since I can remember, and it's always been here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Definitely, in my hometown, definitely in the 80s, a lot of when the gang stuff really started happening, a lot of people from California who moved to like small southern towns or places in the Midwest set up shop, bringing the LA gang culture. You know what I'm saying? So definitely it was a good kid, Mad City vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like a good kid coming from a good home, who definitely was influenced by what was going on outside. But thankful for my community, the people who love me. Thankful to the Most High, you know what I'm saying, that I was able to, bypass a lot of the pitfalls that a lot of young brothers and sisters fall into.
Yeah, that's amazing, because a lot of people, both in Black culture and in Native American culture, seem to fall to the same pitfalls, and it seems that neither of us have had the negativity of doing that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It was me. Like I said, thank God for parents who prayed. Thank God for parents who set a good example. Thank God for my godmother, my friends. You know what I'm saying? Thank God to Southern University, man. I went to school in Louisiana, and that kind of like cemented me being able to get away, and and not get caught up in everything, man. So thank God for going to college. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
college. That was when you went out to Baton Rouge, if I read correctly, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Graduated high school in 2002. Went to Southern University where I graduated. And pretty much stayed there, you know what I'm saying, until I moved back to Oklahoma back in 2000 or 21. You know what I'm saying? 19, 19. See, I was in Louisiana for 19 years, you know what I'm saying? Almost 20 or what have you. And oh no. Oh no. Hold on one
Oh,
second. Hold on one second. Oh.
all right. Guys, yeah, things happen. He'll be back in a moment.
Oh no. Okay. Well, all right.
There we go. There
There
you
we
are.
go. My apologies, man. The cord came out
Oh,
on
things
my line.
happen, man.
My apologies.
I was just like, whoa, it got really dark in there for a
Right.
second.
But yeah, man, so like I said, I went to Southern University. That's where I really cut my teeth as an MC, as an artist, you know what I'm saying, learned pretty much the game. The way people did it, you know what I'm saying, down deep south. And I've been able to take the lessons that I've learned from the great people who adopted me, you know what I'm saying, into that state, into that city. And I've been taking all over the country.
And that's amazing. I mean, you're doing great things.
Thank you.
I mean, you've gone all around the country, and you had one show in Canada at the end of last year, didn't you?
I was supposed to go. I ended up not going. So I was blessed to be opportunity to open up a tour with Cunning Linguists, you know what I'm saying? And I was supposed to be opening a tour. It just so happens that and I'm not trying to be messy, but this is kind of what happened. One of the members, he did some time back in the G, and Canada's border rules as far as like convicted felons crossing crossing over into Canada are very, 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 very strict. And he thought he was gonna be able to get over there, and they wouldn't let him over there, so they had to cancel the tour. So I was supposed to go to Canada in October, but I was not able to go. That's one of the few things that I have not done yet. That's on my bucket list. You know what I'm saying? Is to tour out of the country and overseas or whatever. But the things happen when they're supposed to happen, and I'm confident that I'm be able to run it back sometime soon.
Yeah, you'll get there. I know you will. With your skill, you'll be all over soon enough.
Absolutely, absolutely, man.
So, growing up, your father was a gospel singer, correct?
100%.
How did watching him affect kind of like your music and like get you pulled in? Would you say?
Everything, man. Everything. Just like literally watching the full process of him sitting at the edge of his bed playing his guitar, and then getting a yellow notepad and writing down scrabble lyrics, and then going down to our garage that we turned into a den that he turned into a studio, and kind of like doing his demo stuff at the house. Or sometimes, you know what I'm saying, sometimes he recorded, sometimes he practiced it. But most importantly, watching us go to church on the Sunday or Wednesday, or go to a community center, or go into like a program or revival, and watching him sing these songs in the way they touch people. The way that they touch people, the way that their songs had meaning. And I saw that something that he wrote at the edge of his bed with a tank top on. Watching it a month later, people are crying, or people are rejoicing, or people are coming up to him telling him that he changed their life. And so that was my introduction. That was my introduction to music. That's what I saw first. It wasn't the rappers. It wasn't. I love, like, growing up. Like I said, because my parents are so deep into the church, they didn't really play a lot of secular music around me. So it was gospel music and Michael Jackson, anything Michael Jackson. So I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, whatever. But I never met Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So my first superhero, first artist, first person who introduced me to what art was my father. You know what I'm saying? God bless his soul. But so that had a profound impact on me. That's the reason why I perform the way I perform. That's the reason why I make the music that I make. That's the reason why he was a juvenile probation officer. But one thing that made him so good at what he did was like he had all the, like I said, we had a gang problem in my hometown or whatever. And so like it wasn't that many black probation officers, so he would get all of the young gang members, but he treated them with so much respect and dignity that they wanted him. They wanted him because he took care of them. You know what I'm saying? He didn't judge them. He didn't treat them like criminals. You know what I'm saying? He took care of them. He made sure that when they went to court, they were advocated for. If they had to go to a group home, they were advocated for. You know what I'm saying? And so that made him good in the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what a good person does,
just a good brother, And so I took that as well. I'm an educator, career, pretty much a career youth worker as well. And so, between my father's influence on the musical aspect and watching what he did with the community, specifically with young black boys and girls, I ran from it, but I ran right into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So absolutely a huge, profound impact on me, who I am as a man.
Sounds like he truly moved people with his music.
His music, his actions, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like he was great guy.
Truly sounds like it. So, from what I could find, you've said that your first exposure to hip hop came from a cousin introducing you to people like LL Cool J. How did hip hop get kind of like get its grasp on you so young?
Wow. Let me find out you've been doing some research. So it's the summer of 1989. It's the summer of 1989. So out of all, like I said, I grew up in a small town, but like I was the only one who grew up in town. You know what I'm saying? Like my other cousins and my aunts, they live like out in the country in a rural area. So I have my cousin named Mickey. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he's probably about a decade older than me. You know what I'm saying? And he would I would go out to his house out in the country, and I would just go play in his room. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like 5 years old specifically. And I'm in his room, and Mickey was, even though he grew up in the country, he was a true blue hip hop head. You couldn't tell him he wasn't from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though he was in the country, he didn't dress like no cowboy. He did when he got older, but back then he dressed in Adidas tracksuits and Kangos and shell toes. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm in his room, and I see the Walk Like a Panther album cover. And I'm just like, what's Mickey in here doing with a panther? They're like, that's not Mickey, that's LL Cool J. I'm like, who? Who is LL Cool J? And so he teaches me the first verse to I'm Bad by LL Cool J. Right? He teaches me this verse. And every time I go out there, he teaches me bars until I can rap the whole verse. And I think it's another song called And the Rhyme Goes On. I can't remember because it's literally almost 40 years ago at this point. You know what I'm saying? But but just teaching me what rap was, because all I knew was gospel music, whatever they teach you in kindergarten, and Michael Jackson. That's all I knew. But I think about it at the time. Of course, I didn't have these thoughts when I was 5 or 6, but I think what I appreciated about it so much was literally the house that they grew up in. There was only like 3-4 houses in miles and miles and miles. So he grew up in a very, very rural area, but hip hop took him all across the world. He never got to go to New York City, right? But he was a hip hop kid, just as hip hop as anybody from Brooklyn to Manhattan or the Bronx, because of hip hop. And so it gave him a way to express himself. It gave him a way to kind of get up out of this rural area. I'm just going out there listening to Das Effects and Brand Nubian and not so much Tribe Called Quest, Public Enemy, of course, like the West Coast rap, you know what I'm saying? Snoop, Dre, EPMD, you know what I'm saying? Ghetto Boys. So just every time I'm going out there, I'm looking through the cassettes, I'm looking through the records, and then so they were so far in the country, they didn't have like regular cable. So they would come to my house to watch Rap City. And so him coming to the house, you know what I'm saying, in the mid 90s, now I'm like, you know what I'm saying, maybe like 10, 12, you know what I'm saying, 10, 12, 13, 14. And they would just come to my house and sit on my couch and watch Rap City. And so I'm watching to see what he liked. Oh, he likes Jay-Z. I like Jay-Z too. He likes Nas. I like Nas too. He likes Outkast. I like Outkast too. You know what I'm saying? But it was definitely LL Cool J. It was definitely LL Cool J, the first rapper. You know what I'm saying? The first time I heard rap, understood what a rapper was. And, so Big shout out, God bless us. So rest in peace, my cousin Mickey, man. But he absolutely, man, that was a, I probably would be a gospel singer if Mickey didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I was raised to be. You know what I'm saying? But thank the Most High for giving me hip hop.
Yeah, rest in peace to Mickey. A huge thanks to him for showing an amazing artist to the culture back in
Absolutely,
the day.
man. Absolutely.
Man, that's great that you were able to be exposed to that at such a young age.
Right.
So you earned a history degree from Southern University.
Yes, sir.
And how has being a history student affected your writing and stuff?
Man, so it's funny. This is real funny. So I've always wanted to be a conscious hip hop artist. That's what I've always wanted to be. It was I want to say maybe 10th grade when like most 14, 15-year-old do, you kind of start smelling yourself. You started kind of, you get a little more freedom, and so you might start doing things you ain't supposed to be doing, right? So I'm kind of tiptoeing into the streets a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of figuring life out. And I had an older cousin who was 4 years older than me. He was in college, and he kind of saw what I was doing. And he came home for a holiday, and he brought me brand new beat. He brought me Dead Prez. He brought me The Roots, and he brought me a Lauryn Hill CD. So I'm listening to the music. I love rap. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I really wasn't rapping publicly, but I definitely was writing rhymes about his plan. But this is like the late 90s or early 2000s. So it's Cash Money, Rockefeller, State Property, No Limit, Rough Riders, you know what I'm saying? That type of things, right? Whatever. So I listened to Dead Prez, Let's Get Free. And I hear the song They Schools, and it just blows me away. Like, I've listened to a lot of, gangster rap, but I've never heard conscious rap that was hard. It wasn't soft, but it was like very direct. This is when I first learned about Fred Hampton and Chairman O'Malley, and I learned about what socialism is. You understand what I'm saying? So I hear this, and so I see my cousin again, and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna start giving you these books. I'm gonna start giving you these cassette tapes." And so I started doing my research. Fast forward. I go to college, and first I'm taking broadcast journalism is my major. You know what I'm saying? I take an African American studies class, and so it's HBC. It's an all black school, right? HBCU. So I'm taking an African American studies class, and I hit it off with one of the professors, Dr. Comedy. You know what I'm saying? That's shout out to Dr. Comedy, and he's telling me about like, hey man, you seem to be pretty sharp, because once I got into hip hop, like my whatever pro blackness or consciousness, it comes from conscious rap first. I'm not gonna act like I was already reading books and then I heard the music. I heard the music, and that made me read the books. And so that made me try to read everything I possibly could and listen to everything I possibly could and watch every documentary I could. So I get to African American Studies class. I have all this knowledge from conscious rap. You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, "Hey man, you should come over to the history department." So I'm in the broadcast journalism department. You know what I'm saying? So we go to a public relations conference in fall of 2004, and it's cool. I'm in New York City. First time ever going to New York. You know what I'm saying? And we go to the like the finale of the conference, and the keynote speaker is none other than Donald J. Trump.
Really?
And I didn't like it. Like this, he's not like. Look, I know y'all in South Dakota. I don't know what I can't imagine politically where they are. So I'm gonna keep it a bean.
I don't even know where the state is really.
I don't know.
I think it's red. I think it's blue. I don't know. It's back
and forth. When we get out here, I got some questions to ask, because I've never been to South Dakota. All I know is stereotypes. I know some good people out there, so we got to talk anyways. But look, man, he was a jerk. I didn't like him then, and so boom, he just wasn't a good. I can just tell he wasn't a good person. And so I come back, I'm like, man, if that's what mass comm is gonna be, if that's a public relations to be, that's not what I want to do. So shout out to Donald Trump for making me switch my major to history. Straight up, you know. So I switched my major to history, and it's perfect for me. It's perfect for me because the class, I didn't care about European history or the history of Hawaii. I didn't care about that. But being taught U.S. history by black people at a black school. You know what I'm saying? African American studies, whatever. It really, really had a profound impact on me. What have you? So I get my degree in history, but at the same time, because I come from parents who work with kids, I'm also a youth worker. So like I'm learning about the history, I'm learning about the black experience at this HBCU, you know what I'm saying, through the books and through the classrooms, but I'm also working as a youth worker at some of the toughest neighborhoods in Baton Rouge. One of the neighborhoods I worked in, 70805, you can look it up, it's a documentary on the BBC. So this is probably about a little over a decade ago, maybe about 15 years ago. They did a documentary of the 70805 area code has some of the highest teenage HIV rates, highest teenage dropout rates. Middle school dropout rates, highest murder rates. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like really, really, really rough communities that I'm working in. So I'm learning all this, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting this, conscious rappers teaching me about blackness, you know what I'm saying? And giving me kind of this vision. And then the classes that I'm taking. And I'm learning from black geniuses, you know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, I'm really in the streets with these kids. I'm really in the trenches, right? And I'm rapping at the time. And so I had between what I was learning and what I was experiencing and the type of person that I was raised to be, you understand what I'm saying? It made for the perfect storm of, you know what I'm saying, when it's time for you to be an artist, right? Fast forward, I start teaching, you know what I'm saying? And, I actually have my degree in history and I have opportunity to pilot, you know what I'm saying, a hip hop studies program. I have opportunity to teach African American studies, right? And so, you know what I'm saying? So it's everything. It's like I said, when I was young, I tried to run from everything and I ran right into it. I never thought I'd be a classroom teacher because I don't like rules like that. You know what I'm saying? And then like Oklahoma 50th in education. So clearly the adults ain't doing what they're supposed to do. There's a bunch of stupid rules that really hurts us more than anything, right? But yeah. I take the opportunity to represent what an intelligent, college educated black man who comes from the culture in front of these boys and girls who might not see that when they go back home. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that I take pride in. Big shout out to Southern University, go Jags.
Yeah, it seems like you've been a really responsible figure as a teacher for the kids that you teach, and I mean, you do a lot of great things both in the classroom, in your music. You are pushing a good message.
Thank you, man. Like I think Nina Simone said the artist it's an artist's responsibility to speak on the times. And with that said, I think most educators, specifically black educators, we look at education as activism.
Yeah.
It's you know what I'm saying, we look at it more as just a career. Because it don't for damn sure don't pay. You know what I'm saying? Like we 50th in the state, we 50th in the country in education, and that's how we get paid as well. So it for damn sure ain't because you know what I'm saying it's a cash grab. But you know what I'm saying, if you've seen the conditions that some of these young brothers and sisters is living in, this is a way to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's been something that I've been called to do, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to do so.
I'm glad you took that opportunity because I can guarantee you've at least changed a couple lives teaching kids.
Hey man, you gotta do the work. Teenagers ain't really forthcoming to what they say, but every time one of them graduates or when they come back, I see them later as adults, and you know what I'm saying. And I have kids that I work with, they in their 30s now. You know what I'm saying, and they tell me how much I had an impact on them when I didn't think that they were listening. They really was listening. So that's why you got to do the work, man.
Yeah. I mean, you've definitely had an impact, and that's an amazing thing to be able to say.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So I've seen in the past that you've described your music as conscious rap for gang members. What does that phrase mean to you today?
I consider myself I wouldn't say academic because all I got is a bachelor's, but I would consider myself a scholar. I would consider someone who has a pretty big vocabulary. I would consider myself fairly intelligent, right? There's a lot of young brothers and sisters out there who do not have access to a lot of the things that I've had, right? But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't get the knowledge, they shouldn't get the word, they shouldn't get the message. And so what I try to do is, and I'm not saying that people are ignorant and blah 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 blah, but what I try to do is take all these things that I've learned from these resources that I've had, all these things, experience that I've had, and I try to articulate it in a way that a dude who might have a pack of dope in his pocket can understand it.
Yeah.
So I can break down you know what I'm saying, socialism to a 60s crib. You understand what I'm saying? I can break down Pan-Africanism to a Pyru. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then like I'm really like when I was in Baton Rouge, not so much in Tulsa. When I was in Baton Rouge, man, I was there was a point in time when I left education and I was a mental health counselor. Right, I was a mental health counselor, and like I'm in the trenches, like literally doing counseling sessions in a trap house.
Yeah.
Like they cook dope on the other side of this door, and I'm having a counseling session. They pat me down before I go meet one of my kids in the community center. You know what I'm saying, to do a counseling session, right? I remember one time I was, well, maybe the statute of limitations, but I remember one time I meet a guy in his neighborhood to have him sign some paperwork for me. And while I'm in my front seat, and the guy's in my car, and a junkie comes and knocks on the window. And so he cusses the dude out, and the dude won't leave. And so he gets out of my car and goes to the back of the car, like on the outside by the trunk, and serves a dope fiend, and then comes back for a counseling session. So like I've really been in the trenches, right?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying, and got a lot of respect. Like they don't really gang bang in Baton Rouge like that, but it's based on neighborhoods. But because I was the person who when you saw me in the hood, you know I'm doing something positive with the kids. I got a pass. So I got to be able to talk to these dudes on the corner. You know, I ain't trying to preach to you, but hey, man, look, wow, wow, wow. You know what I'm saying? I try to leave them with something. You know what I'm saying? The young kids that I'm working with, hey, man, look, think about this. Hey, man, I'm giving them books. I'm giving them Malcolm X books and blah, 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 right? And so what I try to do, man, I try to articulate, you know what I'm saying, these black liberation ideas, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. So we can stop being complicit in white supremacy, in capitalism, and you know what I'm saying, you know, we're definitely trapped, but we can't be our own trappers, you know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? So you know, conscious rap for gang members, brain, like, you know what I'm saying? So you know, the accent might change a little bit. I can talk a little street, you know, whatever. But whatever I got to do to make sure, because at a certain point, like if I'm using nothing but $1 million words with poor folks, you know what I'm saying, who might not have the, you know what I'm saying, the same vocabulary or, you know what I'm saying, intellectual dexterity, then I might lose them. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I you know, I'm a proletariat, I'm a man of the people. And I was a good father away from being the same thing.
Yeah. I
So
mean, the way
you know,
my uncle always said it about trapping, and I mean, like, you know, he used to trap and, like, you know, he used to do his thing, but he always said it like this, you know, because he was a larger, older black man. He always told me that they call it trapping because it's a trap to keep our youth in the streets.
100%, 100%. 100%, man.
I mean, it really is when you look at it.
100%, man. Every like two things that have been constant for the last, I would say, since 1865. Almost everything has been done to re-enslave African Americans. Straight up. War on drugs, whatever, right? All this type of stuff, right? And then on the other end of the spectrum, since I would say the Bolshevik Revolution, and I'm sorry to get my history bad, but the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, everything has been done to stop. Everything has been attempted to stop the spread of communism, socialism, and overthrowing the capitalist government, right? And so there's so many traps for not even just black people, poor people. You know what I'm saying? Poor people, working class people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Poor people of all, you know, being in Oklahoma, I understand the plight of my red brothers and sisters, right? And so, you know what I'm saying? I understand the traps that take place on these reservations and things of that nature, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure that's something you relate to being South Dakota, right? So like we have so much in common because we're both enemies of the same people. Now it hits us in different ways, right? But you know what I'm saying? But there's a fight to, you know what I'm saying, make sure that people don't get their land back. They don't get their rights, or don't get what's earned to them. And for us, like I said, like there's a fight to make sure, because they have not figured out. Well, I say that now because ICE is doing what ICE is doing, but like, you know, until they can find a way to deport like American-born African Americans, they got two places for us, and it's the penitentiary or the graveyard. So
Yeah.
they would try to kill us. They would try to make us go extinct or re-enslave us, right? So and so all those things have always kind of intersected to me. You know what I'm saying? Always intersected to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I'm pro-black, but I also believe in class solidarity because I understand who the enemy is.
Yeah.
So and so just being able to address those things in my music, you know what I'm saying, and what I do as an educator has been paramount for me.
Yeah. And I understand a lot of your stance too with that because I've been feeling a lot of the resuppression of Native American culture, like what was before the '70s. If you know all about that, obviously you're a history scholar,
Mm-hmm.
and like
Right.
we're able to practice our culture now, but it feels like they're pushing it back again. And they're pushing back against it again.
And it's interesting, man, because like Oklahoma has the quote unquote 5 civilized tribes, right? It's so the Native American plight here in Oklahoma is different from other places like that because the 5 civilized tribes were the people who enslaved Africans. Like when people ask how did black people get to Oklahoma, they were brought on the Trail of Tears from Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. You know what I'm saying? And 5 civilized tribes, meaning that these are the tribes that were recognized as civilized by the government, right? And so politically, it's strange, right?
Yeah.
It's strange. Like it's still, it's a white supremacy in there. It's a trickery in there, right? And so I can only imagine, like in places like what I'm saying, Nevada and South Dakota, what I'm saying, those places like that, what some of the politics that take place on the reservations, what I'm saying. So like and that's something I definitely want to learn more about. Yes, I'm saying, but we, like I said, we all victims of the same, all the same system. We got to have solidarity. Just like one of the reasons why I love Fred Hampton so much is because of the Rainbow Coalition, and he absolutely had AIM, American Indian Movement, as a part of the Rainbow Coalition. So I'm
Yeah.
all about this solidarity, man.
And the craziest thing is like, we're fighting two governments. You got tribal government and you got federal government. Because I mean, even my tribe, just because my tribe's technically from Nebraska, just years ago they legalized casinos, right?
Mm-hmm.
My father has gotten one check since that law passed. Years ago.
And what tribe is this?
Santee Sioux, Niobrara, Nebraska.
Okay. So I'm not familiar, what I'm saying? Like so in Oklahoma, you have a lot of black Indians who aren't getting, what I'm saying, because of the Freedmen's Bureau, things of that nature, right? And so it's a big fight for the black Indians, what I'm saying, to get their checks or whatever. So, you got a lot of yeah. We talk, yeah, we go on forever about this, right? You know what I'm saying? But you're right. This it's multiple enemies, man. When you're dealing with capitalism, when you're dealing with white supremacy, when you're dealing with these type of politics, what I'm saying? We were dealing with class, it's multiple enemies. And like I said, we always have when we take time to look at who the enemy is, we're trained to think the enemy looks like us or lives like us.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like
I mean, what's weird is here the enemy was kind of living like some of the poor people around here for a bit, because actually in the Oglala Lakota tribe, they had a leader and his wife were just caught for embezzling tribal funds to buy fentanyl to distribute.
Woo! That sounds like a crazy Netflix documentary. Like,
it sounds like something you would hear about, like for a movie or something, like a script.
Right.
Like this is we're really getting into like real life is pretty much mimicking what movies were saying was going to happen forever ago.
Wow. That's crazy.
Like, yeah, it's insane. But I guess we should probably get back on topic, huh?
Yeah, we can do this all day, man.
We could talk this topic for hours.
100%, 100%.
Another one for topics like this. So I've known, and I like that you've remained a true kind of do-it-yourself artist throughout your entire career. So what has the independence allowed you to do that a label might kind of suppress you from doing?
You know what, man? I look at, for one, I'm my only child, so I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah,
I'm not interested in doing what, especially I'm not interested. I'm a team player. If we have a common goal, I'm down for the common goal. but nobody's gonna tell me what to do. Nobody's gonna tell me what to say.
Yeah.
And because I try to stay true to what Black music is at its essence, it's rebellion, it's resistance, it's articulating the struggle. I don't even think about the industry. I think about the culture. I think about the history. I think about the ancestors. I think about the activist part of it. I think about the vision, right?
Yeah.
So for me, what a lot of people don't like, I love. Yes, it's hard work. Man, I was on the phone, I leave for tour on Friday, right? And so I got the Pacific Northwest leg taken care of. Now I gotta get the Midwest set up. And I was on the phone for like 4 hours this morning, talking to everybody, make sure I got stuff done. Stuff that a quote unquote label would do. Stuff that a booking agent would do, stuff that a manager would do, something that, you know what I'm saying, a publicist would do. Because I'm reaching out to press as well, right? I love that because it allows me to be able to do it my way, say what I want to say without having to compromise anything, right? And then just like growing up, so like coming of age as a hip hop artist in the Deep South, like when nobody trying to get no deal, like people like in Baton Rouge, like you go to a club in Baton Rouge, you know what I'm saying? Like 80% of the music you're gonna hear is gonna be from Baton Rouge artists. A lot of these people never left Baton Rouge, right?
Yeah.
But wasn't nobody waiting on a label to get them on the radio. Wasn't nobody waiting on a label to get them in the clubs. Wasn't nobody waiting on a label to put a street team together. Like Master P moved to California and he met E40's Uncle St. Charles, and St. Charles taught him the independent hustle. He brought it back to Louisiana. And so, like, when Master P got some money, he was living in Baton Rouge. So he was gone by before the time I got there, or maybe in the earlier years. But that independent hustle that he learned on the Bay Area, straight out the trunk, you do it yourself type of stuff, that still rings really, really true. So I remember I did a podcast interview with Mickey Fax, and I asked him, like, what is it like to get a deal? You live in New York, you wake up, you go to the buildings, you try to go pitch yourself to get a deal. I've never done that. You know what I'm saying? I've never tried. I've talked to maybe a couple of independent labels who was interested in doing something with me, but it always proved more beneficial for me to do it myself. Because honestly, I don't claim to be Tech Nine, but I haven't personally been in a situation with someone who could do things that I couldn't do for myself or were willing to outwork me.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I get what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love being an independent artist. I get to say what I want to say. I don't like me choosing to be a conscious hip hop artist, right? And still, conscious hip, I don't know if it's more sexy now than it was, you know what I'm saying? But, me choosing to be a conscious hip hop artist in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I'm about the same age as Lil Boosie. So while this stuff is going on, I'm doing backpack underground conscious rap, right? I chose that route. And I never was going to have the benefit of the industry or blah, blah, blah behind me because, conscious rap don't make money. But I can't say what another man wants me to say. I can't do what another man wants me to do. I can only do what the ancestors call me to do. You know what I'm saying? What the people need me to do. And so
you are what made me become a manager who don't suppress his art. Like I just do that. Like I just put him out there. Like you want this said on your shit, let's do it.
Right.
You want me to say this? I'm gonna say it. Like,
and you know what? It's like because at the end of the day, one thing I always remember is the music industry is relatively young. Like Black music, African music has been around for millennia. The music industry is almost 100 years old, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so when we specifically talking about, Africans in America, when people started making music, it was a way to express themselves and run away slave hymns on the plantation. It wasn't a music industry. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a music. It wasn't no like no. I'm not. And so when I approach my art, I try to approach it the same way as my ancestors who was enslaved during the peculiar institution of chattel slavery to express themselves and to communicate with others about getting free. And I can never let a record label or any type of money make me dilute that message. I can never do that. Exactly. I can never ever do that, right? And so I don't even care about no industry. Like you want to give me some money to do what I'm going to do, we can talk. But if you're not interested in my vision, then there's nothing to talk about. I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, because like the type of ciphers I'm jumping on this year and things, a label would never let me do. Like, yeah, I'm going to be out here. I'm going to be heavy speaking about what the government's done.
100%.
That's the whole point of these things. Yeah, happy 250th. Here's the dirt.
That's what hip hop is supposed to be, man. Hip hop,
Exactly.
like you understand it like this, man. Like the first 6 to 7 years, I teach high school. I hear it all the time, right? So the
Yeah.
first 6 to 7 years of hip hop, of rap, of hip hop, right? Wasn't nothing recorded.
It was
It
all
started
just
out in the park. It
live.
started at block parties. It wasn't until Sugar Hill Gang in 1979. You know what I'm saying? So like this was something that poor kids up north were doing to express themselves. And then
Yeah.
the music industry came, and we've seen what has been done now, right? And so I try to stay true to that, man. I try to stay true to the essence of the culture. I don't care about the industry. Like, bro, if it was
Exactly.
up to me, I wouldn't have nothing online, none of that type of stuff. Bro. I hate all this internet stuff. I don't like none of it. I use it, but I don't like none of it. I like hip hop. I
I
don't like
wish
the
I
internet
didn't have to. I wish I could just be pressing vinyls and CDs and pass them out
like it
at the
was in
high
the good
school
old
and it
days.
would
You know what I'm
work.
saying? Go outside and you know what I'm saying? I don't like me making content, TikTok. I don't care about none of that really. You know what I'm saying? I've met a lot of good artists that way, you know what I'm saying, networked or whatever, but like, man, like I believe in going outside and rapping. I
Yeah,
believe in shaking hands and rapping. That's my favorite thing to do. That's why I stay on the road so much.
that's why I love like music and everything. But I gotta admit, the internet did play a big part in like making collaborations possible for us underground artists that would have never
Fact.
known
That's
each
true.
other existed. Like
That's true.
I've interviewed an artist from Africa. I've interviewed an
Woo.
artist from Canada that I would have never known that these guys existed.
100%. Like I said, there's definitely some pros to it or whatever.
And I
But
mean,
like
I feel like that might be the only pro for me is just
the
like the
collaboration. Yeah. The way you connect with other people, 100%. Like like I just did a dope record with some guys in Iowa. You know what I'm saying? That like if it wasn't for Facebook and the railroad movement, I wouldn't have known there was hip hop in Iowa. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have known about me. So of course, I definitely wouldn't be going to South Dakota. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's all a blessing, man. It has its pros and its cons, but I think we're in a very peculiar place because tech companies dominate music.
yeah,
Tech companies, social media companies, stream. These are tech companies. These aren't music labels. These are
yeah.
tech companies, and so it's getting further and further from the culture. And so for me, like I said, I do what I got to do to make sure I network and tour and promote myself. But the culture always comes first. That's what my mantra is: culture over everything.
So, speaking of like, getting back to the culture and companies and things, with the lawsuit loss of Live Nation and Ticketmaster, what do you think that could do for us? Do you think that could be a renaissance of the live music scene for us independent artists?
Man, I just hope. I think the main thing is, man. I don't play Live Nation venues. You know, so I'm not going to cap like I. People say I remind them of Killer Mike, but I ain't got no Killer Mike money. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, man, I'm very much a DIY underground artist. You know what I'm saying? A crowd with 50 people is great to me. So
Yeah.
I haven't personally seen the effects, of what I'm saying, Live Nation, things of that nature. But one thing I can say is this: tickets is way too damn high. And that's one. And then number two, so I noticed before the pandemic, there were a lot of venues that pretty much, underground hip hop artists would play. Post pandemic, when Live Nation and all these companies started buying up these venues, it changed where some artists will be able to play. And so
Yes.
now these 150 cap rooms that would mostly have rappers of my level on it, now KRS want to play in these rooms or Pharaoh Monte play in these rooms because they're not in with these big companies. And so
Exactly.
for a lot of these venues, they was like, am I gonna book Marcel P Black for him to bring 75 people out in this 200 cap room? Or am I gonna book Talib Kweli?
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know what
like
I'm saying?
that.
So it made it a little tighter on people like myself. You know what I'm saying? A little tighter on people like myself or whatever. Which is what I mean. It made it more accessible to fans who couldn't afford those Live Nation tickets or whatever. But for me, you know what I'm saying? Like definitely the pay went down. The bookings kind of went down a little bit post pandemic or whatever. And hopefully it balances out. I think right now more than ever, the biggest thing is the pandemic made people start enjoying music on their phones. So
Yeah.
hopefully with tickets, if we can get back into the venues that's not overpriced, that are still good venues or what have you, You know, once these Live Nation and stuff relinquish some of these venues or whatever, and Ticketmaster makes it more affordable, we can actually get people to come back outside. And
That's
so you want to come back outside for this? You come outside for me too, whatever. Because hip hop is a full contact sport. Like it can't be pop. It can't just be radio music.
no.
You gotta have real people who love the culture in the same building at the same time. And so hopefully this might get people to come back outside.
Yeah, and I mean that's why, we have my festival that you're at, in my town this year is to get people back outside, fix the live music scene that's dying
Mm.
for us independent artists. Yeah, it's thriving for all the bigger ones. It's dying for us independent artists because label or venues are getting bought out and pushing us out. Us underground artists don't have much to go to.
Right. And shout out to all the dive bars, all the DIY venues, all the record shops, all the coffee shops. I don't like rapping in dispensaries because my voice be going out or whatever. But shout out to everybody who's kind of stepped up and picked up the slack and still taking chances on us independent underground artists in the meantime. Shout out to y'all, man. And for the people who left us, we'll let y'all come back, show us some love. We'll let y'all come back. You know what I'm saying? Take care of us when we get back up.
Yeah, come back to the culture. Come back
to the culture, man.
Come back to the start.
100%.
So, you founded the Real MCs Don't Rap Over Vocals movement. What would you say was the moment that kind of inspired you to do that?
Very similar to what I said before. Like, I look at music as an extension of, enslaved Africans expressing themselves on the plantation. I talk about how, when hip hop started, the first 6 years, it wasn't recorded. So therefore you couldn't rap over vocals, right? I try to maintain that level of integrity. Growing up as a church kid, gospel music, ain't nobody singing over vocals, right? Some of the best musicians and some of the best performers come from church. You're able to react extemporaneously, and perform extemporaneously. So that's always been my standard. It's always been my standard. I've always ranted and raved about people rapping over vocals. So it's 2018, and I do a show in Oakland, right? I do a show in Oakland, and the promoter's wife makes a joke about me rapping over vocals. I'm like, thanks. Like, this is Carrie from Louisiana to Oakland. The next week, I'm in Ohio, and I'm about to do this festival. And this guy walks up to me and said, "Hey, man, you that dude be talking about not rapping over vocals?" I was like, "What's going on here?" Like, literally from Oakland to Ohio. So I'm like, okay. So fast forward, it's spring of 2019, right? I'm doing a festival in Virginia, but I have a show. I have a show in North Carolina. I have a show in I have two shows in Virginia. One show in North Carolina, 2 shows in Virginia. The main show was a festival in Virginia. So every single time I fly into Raleigh, they lose my bags. So they lose my bags, I lose my merch. So I got my clothes, I ain't got no merch. I do one show without no merch. I hate doing that. My OG told me, if you don't have any merch to sell and you perform a full set, you pretty much accomplish the same thing you could have done by doing a cipher. So like for me, in my mind, rapping without merch to sell is pointless. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So anyway, so fast forward, the next day, my partner, who was a DJ for Clear Soul Forces, he was like, "Hey man, this happened to me before too." What we did was we found like a t-shirt shop and we made some shirts. I'm like, okay, cool. So we go to 2 different malls. On the second mall, we go up to the stands and we're like, "Hey man, I got $100 bill. How many shirts can we give with $100?" He was like, "I'll get you 10 shirts." And so my DJ was like, "Okay, we'll come right back." My DJ was like, what do you want the shirts to say?" He was like, "You should say, stop rapping over vocals." And I was like, nah, people already say that. I'm with it. Of course, I'm with it. And people know me for that. But people already say that. I want something. If I'm going to say something, I want something to be original. And so that's when I came up with Real MC to Rap Over Vocals. So we put them on a t-shirt. It takes about 90 minutes. He makes the shirts up. I do a show in Virginia, and I almost sell out of all of them. Right? I almost sell out of all of them. I'm sorry, let me go back. So before these shirts get made, so back in July, it was July 25th, 2018. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm waiting on my friend to he had to work. So I'm in the studio and I get on Facebook Live and I start ranting about people rapping over vocals. So that's the reason why the month of July is International Stop Rapping Over Vocals Month. And July 25th is International Stop Rapping Over Vocals Day. You know what I'm saying? Because it was in July 25th, right? So boom, fast forward, 2019 comes. I get my first ever sponsored tour, right? And I knew I was gonna do a tour for my album in that fall. So even though it was a tour, I did not want to call it a tour, but I wanted to be creative. And so I called it the Real Season Rap Over Vocals campaign. And so the whole campaign was me like saying that I'm going city to city to stop over vocals rap. And it worked. My first time ever going viral. You can probably find a video on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? First time viral. It was all over the place. I got invited to so many different cities. The first time I was invited overseas was because of the Red Rough campaign in July 2019, right? And so after that, man, that's when it really cemented me as like, okay, all right. And so like you can't say Red Rough without, you can't say Red Rough vocals without thinking about me, which has its cons too, because like it gets frustrating because like I'm a career conscious hip hop artist, and so sometimes people only hear Red Rose, and when I'm over breaking down socialism and Pan-Africanism, and I'm talking about the plight of single mothers, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying some really heavy, serious stuff, but people only hear Red Rose. So that's one of the cons. But as far as the pros, man, like it's been a blessing to me. It's opened up a lot of doors for me. It's been a lot of rappers who stopped rapping on vocals because they heard about the movement. I've had people apologize to me. Hey man, I didn't know you was. I'm sorry, which is whatever, you know what I'm saying. But like, I'm proud to be able to like be a part of this culture and actually leave something as a legacy. Now that's not everything that I do, you know what I'm saying. But you know, I'm blessed to even have that, you know what I'm saying. So like, hey, when people when I'm not rapping no more, or whatever, people are like, yeah, that's Marcel P. Black. He was a leader of the rapping on vocals. He pushed good live performances. He pushed being a better MC. He pushed not being too high or drunk. He pushed rehearsal. He pushed, you know what I'm saying, breath control, things of that nature. And you know, so you know, it's been cool, man.
Yeah, and I mean, you're doing a lot of great things, and that's amazing. So, why do you think performing without vocals, you know, has become so much more popular since the movement? Like, not performing over vocals has become.
You know, a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people do it. A lot of people are scared. So you know what it is? I think like it's definitely a generational thing. Because I didn't come up rapping with the internet.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have the internet. Like I came up rapping outside. I came up rapping, blah, blah, blah. So I think a lot of the younger artists, man, it's like you don't have to make your name the way we made our name. And so I think with like a lot of like rock bands, right? They might play in the garage for years and do shows forever and never cut an album until like 10 years later. With rap, you drop the album first, then you start performing. And so the emphasis is not so much on performing, especially in the era of like, you know, reels and content and mic drops and things of that nature, right? And so I think a lot of young artists are seeing the benefits because for real, right? Like the only real quote unquote over vocal rappers are guys that are super duper local. They don't rap outside of their hometown. Super duper hood. They don't rap outside of the hood clubs, or famous people like Lil Yachty or something like that, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like the majority of hip hop takes place in that in between. And so unless like you have to be really famous and have a whole bunch of followers and or whatever, really famous to be a touring over vocal rapper.
Yeah.
You have to be very, and if you look at it, the people who really tour, like if you look at Kendrick, if you look at even Drake, if you look at these really big names or what have you, who actually tour and do these world tours or whatever, they're not rapping over their vocals, even though they might do 50 shows in 60 days, right? So it's like, and so I think I've had a lot of people say, hey man, I rap over vocals, and the crowd liked me so much more. And I was the only person who didn't rap over vocals, and the promoter asked me, when can I come back, and asked me how much is my fee. And so like it's helped people, like once people kind of stop being afraid, you know, they see the benefits of being a professional on the microphone.
Yeah, I mean, even before I found the movement, I had done one show over vocals, hated it, and immediately switched to off vocals before I even found the movement.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So you know, so I think it's been, I think people are coming around. You know, it's always gonna be a fight. Somebody literally posted like, somebody tagged me in the post, or somebody was like, I rap over vocals just to piss you off. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is insane, right? You know what I'm saying? But you know, so it's always gonna be it's one of the situations where it's like I may not get there with you, but you know, I'm gonna keep doing the fight. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I've seen, like I said, I've seen several artists who was like, but it's been times where I perform and you know I don't, you know, I have fun with it online, right? I have fun with it online, but I don't chastise kids for being kids, but I go do my job. And so it's always times where I'll go, you know, I'll go do you know, I'm over 400 pounds. I'm 6'4". I'm a big dude, and I rock a 45-minute set with no vocals. And a young over vocal rapper will be like, "Damn!" And they'll come buy a T-shirt. They'll buy a Rare Up T-shirt. But like, I'll never do that again. If you can do that, there's no reason why I can't go 10 minutes without it. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, like I said, man, it's you know, it's definitely a fight. The movement must move, but you know, it's a blessing to make a positive contribution to the culture.
Phone call. Sorry, someone was trying to talk to me quick.
It's all good.
But yeah, I get that. And I mean, my whole thing is I didn't even learn breath control entirely before I stopped rapping over vocals. And even I was getting asked like, hey, you want to do another show? This, that. It's like, yeah, I can carry a 43-minute set while having asthma. I don't think there's
100%.
any excuse to rap over vocals.
100%, man. You know, like I said, like that's if you want to call yourself an MC, right? That's why I say real MC to rap over vocals. A lot of people don't care about hip hop. They don't care about being the MC. They just want to they want to look cute online. Y'all go do that. That's cool. You gonna have
thing on someone else's show.
You know what I'm saying? But this hip hop. And so for me, I care about hip hop. I care about the culture. I care about the African oral tradition. And so you know, you know, I can't not if like I don't expect Chief Baby Do It.
I'm on the phone.
If you ask Chief Baby Do It, is he an MC? He's probably gonna tell you no. If you ask him, does he make real hip hop? He's probably going to tell you no, and that's fine. He's 17 years old. That's cool.
Yeah.
But if you want to get respect as an MC, you got to rap. You got to.
That's a big thing that like I've been explaining to a lot of these younger kids and stuff, you know, because like hip hop isn't just music or a sound or the way you write. It's a lifestyle. It's a culture. It's like it's really something that like, you know, Black people started, and then Puerto Ricans and Native Americans hopped in on it, and then like, you know, it became a true movement in the music industry that nobody originally wanted to be as big as it is now.
100%, man. It's African culture, diasporic culture. You know what I'm saying? Articulated through the times that we living in. So it's very, very important. How old are you? How old are you?
I'm only 22. I've done so much research into the culture you wouldn't believe.
Man, you made me feel so old, bro.
Yeah, you graduated, and then I was born.
But wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Hey, I mean, we doing it out here, and I mean, you know, we getting it done.
I appreciate that, man, because you know, and I asked you that question because, like one thing that I've seen post-pandemic a lot, as I'm going back to a lot of these cities that I toured pre-pandemic, the scenes are not getting younger. Right.
Oh,
it's so like my whole career, one of my biggest fan bases were like, you know, older college kids.
Yeah.
But now 23, 24-year-old college kids aren't coming to underground rap shows anymore. Like a lot of the one of the ways I made my name is that, you know, Baton Rouge had LSU had a radio station called Underground Sounds, and they play underground hip hop. So you would have, you know, 21, 22-year-old white kids who liked MF Doom, who liked, you know what I'm saying, underground hip hop. They don't have those shows anymore. And so like what I'm seeing is like I'm going to these shows, there's less people coming there, and the crowd is getting older. And as you're older, you got shit to do. You got kids, you got responsibilities, you can't go to a Thursday night hip hop show because you got to go to work, you know what I'm saying, or a Sunday night show because you got to go to work the next morning. And I saw less and less young artists and young fans of hip hop. So I appreciate what you're doing at 22 years old, because we need, like, Gen X, they did their thing. So now it's time for millennials to step up and be leaders and be mentors and be veterans, right? But we got to pass it down to Gen Z, Gen Alpha. Somebody got to pick up that torch when we too old to do it. And so I appreciate what you're doing.
That's my generation.
100%, because this is the first time, like, how can I say it? I've always, the industry gonna die. It's gonna die. I can't wait for it to burn, right? But the culture has always been consistent. For the last couple of years, I've been concerned about the culture because I do not see the culture getting younger. It's getting older and older, and I didn't necessarily see younger artists kind of like filling in the blanks for the old, for the things where it used to be. Yeah. And so what you're doing is important, doing the festival of, basically just doing the research and maintaining that culture and integrity. That's really, really important.
A lot up here, we got like 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old artists with a lot of skill. We got, 18 to 24-year-olds out here killing it. I mean, like, the scene here is only getting younger.
That's good. And that's good. And with that said, man, while it's getting younger, like the best hip hop scenes that I go to across the country have a good mixture of both. You have a good mixture of young guys, but you have a mixture of veterans that kind of like help make sure that people don't make mistakes or kind of guide them in the right path. That's why like Memphis has one of the best independent hip hop scenes, Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? When I go to New England, I'm saying it's a good mixture of, a good mixture of guys who's 24, 25, a good mixture of guys 37. You got some guys that's 50 years old, but everybody's each one teach one. So, you know what I'm saying? People are being pushed to being competitive. People aren't letting people come from out of town and like kind of like stir up mess or things of that nature.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so I think it's important that like it has to be multi-generational to make sure, because I always say this, like, I love hip hop to death, but 2026, I don't want to go to a hip hop show or hip hop club and only hear Biggie.
No.
I want to hear Jid. I love Biggie. It's one of my all-time favorite rappers. I want to hear Jid. I want to hear Marlon Craft. I want to hear Joey Badass. I want to hear Ab Soul. I want to hear.
I want to walk in a club and hear some Tech Nine.
Whatever. But even he's 50 in his 50s, right? Like what I'm saying is this: like I have teenagers.
Oh, you mean like I thought you mean you don't want to like I want to hear the younger kids, and there's so many of them too.
But what I'm saying is, like, we shouldn't have to depend on people who died 30 years ago to keep hip hop alive.
No,
like we need to be able to, like in 2040. We shouldn't be playing Biggie in the club. We should be playing whoever the dopest hip hop artist is in 2040. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like that's all. Like my friend, like he lives in Florida. He goes into a club and they're playing like Tupac and Biggie, and I'm like, why? Florida has like Shoreline Mafia on like club music,
right? And that's cool for a little bit, but like if your hip hop night is all 90s music, come on, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I was alive during that era, so I appreciate that. It's my childhood. But like we need to be making, because the only way that we keep hip hop alive is if we keep pushing it forward. We keep working. We keep, like, for me, I don't expect you to rap like me. I don't expect somebody 15 to rap like Run DMC. But what I would like to do is teach younger artists the culture. If you teach them the culture, to appreciate the culture, the art form, and the craft and the elements, let young artists be creative as they want to, but with that cultural foundation, that's what makes it dope. Yeah, because the problem is now is like you have a lot of younger artists who be like, I'm not a rapper, I'm an artist, but they make music that sounds like everybody else. There's no originality to it. You're trying to recreate what's viral, or you're trying to recreate what's on the radio or whatever's popping. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, like, you sound just like Suicide Boys. You sound just like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing original to what you're doing because there's no culture in it, you know what I'm saying? And so for me, that's why I say culture over everything. So I don't expect somebody 22 to rap like Killer Mike. I don't expect somebody 22 to rap like Rakim. But if you can learn the skill and technique and the passion and the intention that a Killer Mike or a Rakim or a Corrupt or whatever, Chino XL put into their craft, you know what I'm saying? And you mix that with the natural the natural inspiration that comes from where you live at. Yeah, that's what keeps it evolving. The ability to, especially us people from like these quote unquote flyover states, you know what I'm saying? People don't know what the hell is in South Dakota for the most part. People don't know what the hell is in Oklahoma. But allow a motherfucker from South Dakota to make art.
Exactly.
Allow this person to make art and be creative with that art, and you can get something dope every time.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I even have people out here, you wouldn't even, like, the veteran, everyone seems to compare me to, they say, you rap like Bizarre.
Okay.
I'm like, I like that one. That's a new one. I don't hear that one for anybody else.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody compare them before. That's crazy.
Like, I'll take that one. I'll take that badge. Like, all right.
That's dope. That's dope.
I was like, that's dope. That's dope. You know, and I mean, you have such your own sound. I don't even know who I would compare you to. Truthfully,
I always get to kill the mic comparisons. Always. And that's probably because like,
I mostly hear like when I hear Marcel, but I think that's because like, you know, I see you as like a friend, kind of, you know. So I hear you.
No. I mean, he said it when I first met him in 2013. So you be my little brother before I had dreads or whatever. But like, I think it's because, you know, the stature, big and black, political. You know what I'm saying? Wearing polo, so I get to kill the mic comparisons. Early in my career, I got the Freeway comparisons. I got Freeway because it was a flow I was doing at the time. So you sound like Freeway. Because I'm country, when I rap, they say I sound like I get the Big Crit comparisons or what have you. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like, you know, but you know, I definitely like, I would say 75% of the comparisons always being Killer Mike. And I've never thought we sounded alike, but I can understand, you know, some of the content and some of the appearance. I can understand the comparisons.
Yeah, I definitely understand the content and stuff. I mean,
I don't rap like him at all.
not like the style, but like I understand like the political content and things. Like, yeah, there are similarities. You guys do talk about hard hitting subjects and subjects that most people wouldn't touch on because the mainstream ain't gonna listen to it.
And especially like, you know, there's the stereotype that Southern rappers are intelligent, or Southerners are intelligent, period, right? And so like, I'm grateful for Killer Mike because he showed what we all knew, that you can be, you know what I'm saying, big black or hardcore rapper and still intelligent. And so I think that's where a lot of it comes from, because there's honestly, in the way Southern hip hop artists are portrayed, there's not a lot of quote unquote, you know, conscious, you know what I'm saying, Southern rappers with political content, right? And so for me, Killer Mike was